Okay, finish.
So we finally get John Pearson to come to Sound One and watch the rough cut of our film on the Steamback.
Right. So hold on. So you're right. He had said, don't show 20 minutes because contrary to popular belief, everyone says show a little piece, show a trailer. They will view it as damaged goods. They'll say, if they don't buy it, which will be a long shot that they do off of 20 minutes, they'll say, show me the whole movie. And you'll think, oh, well, they haven't seen it really, but they'll feel like they saw it already. That was,
or they won't even watch it, or they won't watch
Right.
it. You know,
Right.
they'll
Anyway,
feel like
so-
I've seen this. Yeah.
well, we said, we went against his advice and showed it anyway.
He came and watched it on the Steamback. You know, he was, he was a little circumspect. Like he wouldn't really tell us what he wanted to do, but he said, look, it's funny. I have some thoughts. He said, I was like, will you please invest? We need $100,000 to finish this movie and get it out there. And we need somebody to sell it. And he said, I want to think about it. I can't think about it now. I'm going to Sundance. I have a movie I'm trying to sell there. And we followed him to Sundance. We got on a plane. We went out there. We told him we're here in Park City. We want to keep this conversation going. I think he was impressed by that. We sort of ran around Sundance and sort of tried to tell everybody we could, about this movie we had in the can, this great movie. We really were sort of our own press agents. And we finally got John to have dinner with us in the River Horse Cafe on Main Street.
Wait, was that when we had the cans of the film with us and we had shown it to Sony Classics in LA before we went there?
That's
the following year.
No, I don't think we had the cans with us that time. I don't think we did.
Okay, so that was because
we might have actually. We might have gone to LA first. I can't remember, but all I know is we finally got John to sit down with us.
Because we were talking about like showing it on the side of a building at Sundance.
Yeah.
So I think we showed that film to Michael Barker at Sony Classics, and he slept through it at a huge screening room in LA.
Yeah, at the Television Academy screening.
Right,
room.
and we watched him; he was asleep. And then we
I don't know that he slept through the whole thing, but we had shown it to his two partners in New York, who were
Marcy and somebody.
Marcy Ross and Tom Bernard.
Right.
And they were very enthusiastic. At that time, Sony was owned by Coca-Cola. We went and showed it to them in the screening room in the Coke building. They were very enthusiastic. They said, we just need our third partner to see it. And we were convinced Sony Classics was going to release this movie, which would have just been like, a dream come true. And yes, we showed it to Michael Barker at this giant Television Academy screening room that we rented. And he did not respond.
He slept through it. So anyway, so then we had the big cans with us and we were going to go, then we went to Sundance to try to court. And we were like, we'll show it on the side of the building. We'll do whatever we have to. So John met with us and had dinner, but he still didn't say yes.
I think he did. I think that's
No, he didn't. Because I remember specifically. I don't even remember meeting him. I don't even remember that dinner. I don't think I was.
I remember him taking out a piece of paper and writing down, thoughts that he had, writing down some numbers.
No.
And I'm fairly certain that that's when he said,
No, because I remember that you met him in a bar in New York City later, and I wasn't with you. And that was when you were going to close the deal and you called me and said, he's in. I don't know. I have some weird memory of that.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't remember because I remember thinking that you were really courting, and he was into it, but he wouldn't say yes. He wouldn't say yes. Or maybe the bar was first. I don't know. Anyway, the guy said yes.
Anyway, the bottom line is he was willing to invest $120,000. We were already in for 40. In addition to the 28,000 that we'd started shooting with, we continued to sort of scrounge up money. I think my mother didn't have any money. I think she put in $500 or something.
Yeah.
We scrounged it up to $40,000 just to get to where we were, and then he agreed to put in $120,000 to pay all our bills. And I'm, I feel great that we were able to pay we were able to pay Sound One.
Right.
And so now we were able to get this film blown up to 35 millimeter print. And, and then it was, where are we going to debut this movie, which film festival? And by that time, We had applied to some festivals. We didn't get in to, I guess we didn't get into Sundance. We were in the wrong cycle for Sundance. And then John said, I had great luck with She's Gotta Have It at the San Francisco Film Festival, which was either in April or May. And that's where he sold She's Gotta Have It. And so we applied to San Francisco. They really responded to the movie, and they made it one of the two, I think, opening night features at the San Francisco Film Festival. Paid for us to fly out, put us up in a nice hotel.
It's like
I mean,
insane.
it was just actually, I didn't fly out because for some reason I was in LA, and I
Right.
drove up with my friend John Danz. I drove up from LA to San Francisco, and I met you there, and it was just the most amazing experience. It was a giant theater. The audience responded. They laughed throughout.
Well, we had two screenings. The first screening opening night was in a giant theater, but still was like 300 people. Remember, that second screening was in a place with 800 people. That was insane.
That was the second screening?
Yeah, because the opening night screening where we're freaking out, everyone's in the audience is drunk because of the party. We don't drink. I wasn't drinking. And the lights go down. It's the most exciting thing, the culmination of our dream come true. And we'll put the movie on, and it's upside down.
Upside down. The print loaded upside down.
It's upside down. And we're like, I vomit into my mouth. We're like, they close it, they stop it. We're like, oh my God, we're dead. And they're
People are
drunk.
getting
up. So they reload it. They put it up. It's backwards. It's backwards now. The second time they put it up. So again, they stop it. At this point, we're just like, okay, we're dead. We're finished. Because we're trying to sell the movie there, remember, right? Not only is it a screening, but there are buyers there. Third time they put it up, it works. The movie plays. It plays great.
Standing ovation at the
Was
end.
it really?
Yeah, there was a standing ovation.
Wow.
And we
I
were
wish I remember that.
cheering, and we were just, I mean, it was just over the moon. We thought, okay.
And then the second theater, there was two screenings. The second day or 2 days later was in this ridiculous 700 seat place. It was just huge, big stage. That went great. We sold it out. And then we tried to sell the movie. Couldn't really, a lot of people liked it. John was right. I think a lot of people felt they had seen it, whatever, it wasn't right. They didn't buy it. Miramax didn't buy it. Sony didn't buy it. All these people that we had high hopes for buying it didn't buy it. Miramax had bought Clerks and put it out. There were all these Brothers McMullen I forget who put that out, but we couldn't sell it. So we go back to this little company, Arrow.
Well, first of all, I want to say one thing, that one of John Pearson's biggest sort of reservations, the one, he thought the movie was funny. He really liked, so much about it, but he said, movies about making movies are always hard to sell. And
there weren't that many of them at that point. We were
No.
before Living in Oblivion, weren't we?
Before Living in Oblivion. The Big Picture was a movie, that I love.
It's a great movie, great movie. Was that before us?
Yes, that was.
I mean, that's a Christopher Guest movie. That was a big budget movie, which is a brilliant fucking movie.
Right, but there weren't that many. But there is definitely this sort of prejudice
Yeah.
against movies about making movies to Inside Baseball, and that was sort of, and I think that came up a number of times with distributors, and it was incredibly frustrating. Although during this time we were invited to amazing film festivals. I'll never forget one of my favorite traveling experiences ever was the Edinburgh Film Festival, which we both had girlfriends at the time. We all went. It was just a beautiful. They treated us incredibly well. The movie played great. Driving up in the Scottish Highlands, it was just amazing.
I wore a long blue dress, many years before Willow. What's his name? What's the son of Jada Pinkett? Willow Smith. No, that's the girl. Who's the boy? Anyway, I was wearing dresses in 1993, very long. I did a kilt thing, but wore a full-length dress. Just saying. Anyway, we had a great time in Edinburgh.
We Seattle. We're all over it, just having a great time at these festivals. But nobody was buying the movie to release it.
Yeah, right. So nobody bought it, and we're getting depressed. So we end up going back to Arrow, which was that tiny company where this guy had worked who said, "Hey, we'll give you 60 if you give us 60." that guy, so they ended up buying the movie, and that guy.
First he came to a screening. We
Okay.
had a screening at the old Thalia on 95th Street and Broadway.
Right.
We rented the Thalia, and we had a screening, and they said, okay, we didn't know him at that point. We talked to the head of the company. We talked to Dennis, who was the head of the company. He was the one sort of pitching this stuff to us. And they said,
I remember that Jason was the guy in those meetings saying, we'll give you 60.
nope, because I
You
remember
don't feel that we ever met him that first go round?
no, because I remember when he came to the Thalia,
Okay.
he said, I'm going to say, I have an acquisitions guy who's
Oh.
going to come and see it. He's my new acquisitions guy. And we're looking around like, who the hell is the acquisitions guy? Like, is he here yet? Is he here? You know, is it that guy? Is it that guy? And he comes in and he says, I'm the acquisitions guy from Arrow. And I'm like, this guy is 15 years old.
Right.
This
This little kid
guy
in a
is
suit,
determined.
squeaky clean.
Yeah, this guy's going to determine our career fate. I mean, he's like a child, but he was very sweet and very charming, and he supported Arrow buying the movie.
Right. So they bought the movie. It turns out that guy's name is a guy named Jason Blum. You might know him from a little company called Blumhouse that he started. He's a gazillionaire, made every horror movie that's out. Great guy. Anyway, we met him when he had I don't know if it was his first job, but certainly one of his first jobs. And so he brought the movie to Arrow. They said, we liked it already in the first place. And they bought it and put it out. We got the Angelica Theater, which was a coup. At that point in New York City, it was the place where all the sort of well thought of independent films played. We opened in, I think, 15 cities, 20 cities, 10 cities.
Yeah, I mean,
We
we all
all around. We got some bad reviews. People made fun of my haircut. I don't know if they made fun of your haircut in Seattle, but in New York City, Janet Maslin gave us a good review.
I would say we got predominantly good reviews across the country.
I guess I just remember the one that made fun of my.
Well, you always remember the bad ones. But, you know, at that time, there was no internet, there was no social media, there was no, you know, you lived or died by a New York Times review.
Yeah, you couldn't survive it if you got a bad review.
If you got a bad review in the New York Times, you were probably done. If you got a good review in the New York Times, you had a pretty good chance, you know. And
so she said that the film had insouciant charm, which of course I had no idea what the hell insouciant meant, but I looked it up and it was good.
yeah. Of course, I remember the one bad line. She's an incredibly smart and gifted writer, and
Got through a T-bag.
one line she said, there are a couple of scenes. There's a couple of scenes that look like it was shot through a tea bag.
Yeah,
And you know, that's of course like a knife in my heart. But I know the scene she was talking about. There was one scene in a coffee shop where the Martha Plimpton scene. It's a glass enclosed cafe, and you know, we're losing the light. We're shooting in November. It gets dark at 4:15, you know, and we're just going and going and going, and our DP like keeps stopping down another stop, you know, and he's like, we're in the mud, you know, we just can't. And we're like, well, we gotta fit. We're never going to be in this place again. And that's, you know, that was the reality. We weren't going to get that. We had that location for that moment. So there were a couple, but overall, you know, her review was very positive, and it made a huge difference.
Yeah, and it was like, you know,
we played in 80 markets.
yeah, we played 80 markets. It was a little hit in New York City. You know, I remember the fun for me, and I think Donnie too, is like, in no way is it egomaniacal, but my experience is I want to watch people watch the movie. So I hover in the back of all movie theaters at 100 screenings, not to watch our film. We've seen it a million times, but to be there to experience the laughs and feel if, you know, hang on every laugh, how are that people going to get the movie and laugh. So I was hanging out at the movie, and once Queen Latifah came out, and she was like, "Oh, you're the dude in the movie. I love it." And that was like amazing. And then I followed Ed Mayor Koch to the bathroom, and because he went in there, and I was like, "How'd you like it?" And he was kind of like, "I'm in the bathroom." And he didn't really like the movie as much as Queen Latifah, but I could give a shit because Queen Latifah liked it. And it was just great, and played in the Angelica to packed houses and around, like Donnie said, in 80 markets. And
I remember being outside the Angelica, just sort of, I was in the neighborhood. I was just sort of looking at, you know, but at the line, like, you know, are people coming? And I saw I remember seeing Winona Ryder and Dave Pirner online, who was Dave Pirner of Soul Asylum was her boyfriend at the time. He was a big deal. And I thought, wow, and I think we talk about Winona Ryder in the movie.
Oh, we do. That's right. That's right.
In a scene where we're sort of being like, sort of blind to our own sort of sexist idiocy, talking about actresses and, which is part of the joke, that we, these are the actors wanted to me, just being, sort of, and that was the joke. And she was saying, I was like, oh my God, is she going to see that? What's she going to think of us? I hope she gets the joke that the joke was on us,
Right. Yeah. So it was great. And so that's like, and the rest is history. Like, we haven't, knock on wood, I haven't had to drive a cab in 30 years since. I've been able to make movies and TV shows. I mean, I have needed to take advantage of, I'm very happy for all the free money for the last 2 years of COVID, or I wouldn't have been able to feed my two daughters. But sad happy that looks like that's not ending, since the red wave didn't happen. So maybe more Democrat free money will come my way or maybe I'll even get a job in the movie business. Again, it's been tough sledding, just the way of the world. It's hard to make movies. It's even harder now. I'm old. People don't care as much. That's fine. People don't like to watch movies about old people, unfortunately. But keep trying my best to make movies that anybody wants to watch. And I'm very grateful. But if I have to go work at CBS, then I will.
I would say I've had an amazing run. When we first made that movie, we thought, I remember saying, we're gonna co-write the movie, we're gonna co-produce it, and co-direct it, and we're gonna co-star in the movie. And I thought, if it leads to one job in any one of those categories, I will feel it was a massive success. And we never made a cent on that film. Arrow. They sent us a lot of very interesting statements. They wound up making they published a DVD without ever telling us that they were putting out a DVD. So we never got to be in on the, on the master and do any commentary. But anyway, the bottom line is we never got any money from that, but, been able to make a living for 30 years and, a huge, I'm hugely grateful that that happened, and it really was just, I think we found in each other that extra little boost that we needed, to just take the shot, just take the shot.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, like, listen, I'm sure we individually could have tried to make something happen, but you have a buddy, you do it together, and I think Donnie's very right about that. And so listen, I don't want to make it sound like I've been sitting in this attic my whole life. I mean, I've been able to make movies and shows and have a movie out a year ago. So like, I don't want to paint too bleak a picture, still able to keep it going, but yeah, it's a different world now. It's a different world. But the good news is the world it is now. It's harder to sell a movie, make a movie and sell a movie like we made. But the good news because it's hard. The flip side of that the market of independent film has changed from a market of scarcity to a market of abundance. So many more people can make films, which is great. Right.
But that also means that the value has been pressured downward of independent films. So, to get that money back, I think a lot of young filmmakers today, become super innovative and are really able to do stuff, mastering the technology stuff, even, less, spending a lot less money even than we did and come up with a good product. I actually went and made another $200,000 movie a couple of years ago just to see if I could do it again. And it was, using a very different sort of technological, in a different landscape. And, it was a great experience. It's hard, it's still hard. And maybe it's a little harder when you're older, but never give up the fight. Yeah,
my last movie was $170,000 called Before I Go. We were able to sell it and put it out on all the platforms. It's the first movie I made that didn't go in a movie theater, and I always vowed that every movie I make will at least for one night be in a movie theater. But I let go of that. That movie didn't play in a movie theater. Okay, but so the flip side of the coin of that, it's that people don't watch as many movies in movie theaters. It's harder to make a small movie for the reason Donnie was talking about. The flip side of that coin is it's really easy. You might have to make shorter content. I hate that word, but I'm getting into it. 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, and you put it straight out on the internet. And if it catches fire, so many more people can see it right away than ever saw our movie, or it took a long time for that many people to see our movie. So that's the good. So instead of being some old curmudgeon and like, the good old days, like I embrace the good part of the new technology, which is that this thing we're making now, I'm putting the movie out now. If people want to see it, a lot of people can see it right away, and we don't have to go sell it. We don't have to take the canisters of film around and hope that somebody gives us money to put it in a movie theater.
Festivals remain a great outlet where you can actually get a movie to play on that's where you're going to maybe get your one shot to play on a theater, on a screen in a theater full of people. But it is that's where the world is today, and you adapt. And I think I'm happy to have been a part of what was a New York kind of new indie wave in the early 90s. I think that really helped to push a lot of the indie movement forward. And there were a lot of people that came before us, and glad to see people still out there doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So enjoy the movie. We made a movie, My Life. They're out of the business 20 years later. Maybe we'll do another one of these for that. I still am Eric Schaefer. Sarah Schaefer is on the screen. This is my wife's computer. So still going by Eric. Donald is still going by, Donnie's still going by Donald. And listen, I hope you guys like the movie and watch it. And Donnie, thanks for talking about it for this hour. And who knows, maybe we'll make a third. I don't know, or maybe not. All right. Talk to you later. You have to get your kids from school?
Yep.
Yeah. I just heard my daughter and wife come in. All right. Bye. We don't have to, oh, okay.